welcome to KristenKellyTV. So today I'm going to tell you a story time. This is a really funny story time, so if it's something you'd like to watch, please continue. So guys, I just woke up from a monster nap. It is today's Saturday. It's a Saturday, and today was such a good day. I got to sleep in, and then I got my tattoos and my eyebrows retouched, and then I got to come home and go back to sleep, and I just woke up from my nap, and I'm doing laundry and I'm doing dishes, so hopefully you can't hear the laundry machine and the dishwasher too bad, but I do have them on, so I do apologize. I just figured I would do the story time for you guys real quick, get this video up while I'm cleaning, because I'm going to be home all day, or I'm going to be home for the rest of the night. Actually, I think I'm going to a movie later. I don't know. I'm kind of all over the place. Okay, so when I lived in Los Angeles, well, I lived in like a lot of different spots in LA, but there's one place that I lived at was on Formosa Ave, which is really close to Rock and Roll Ralph's. So my boyfriend at the time, we were working out like a lot. We were working out probably 7 days a week. We were eating really clean. So we decided that one day we were going to have our cheat day. We were like, okay, so I think it was like a Friday. We were like, okay, Friday is going to be a cheat day. So we were looking forward to Friday. It was like Friday's cheat day, Friday cheat day, Friday cheat day. And if you're somebody who's ever dieted or had a meal plan or meal prep, or you get in this like almost trance about when your cheat day is, because when you're eating your other food, maybe something that you don't like, you're thinking, okay, my cheat day is coming up, my cheat day is coming up, my cheat day is coming up, you know? So I was having my period, so I was already like super emotional, super bloated, already like really on edge, and wanted to eat like something like bad for me. My ex-boyfriend, him also, like he wanted to eat something bad for him, but he was kind of fat, so he like always wanted to eat something bad for him. And I don't mean that in a bad way. He would like totally say that himself. And we decided that I think we ate an edible. So we ate an edible. I'm having my period, and we had been, you know, like really looking forward to this cheat meal. So I like remember it like it was yesterday. Like it was so, this story is so crazy. Like so crazy. Like I couldn't believe that it had happened. Like as it was happening, I was like, is this real life? So across from Rock and Roll Ralph's, and they call it Rock and Roll Ralph's because during the 80s, I guess, this is what I was told, that during the 80s, a lot of the heavy metal like bands and stuff, like that they would go to that Ralph's late night, I guess, and like get food or something. I don't know, but that's why it was called the Rock and Roll Ralph's. So across from Rock and Roll Ralph's is this Chinese restaurant. I forget what the name of it is, but it's just a Chinese restaurant. It was just walking distance. It wasn't like it was like the best Chinese food in the world. It was just that everything was walking distance. The Ralph's was close to my house, and this was like my Ralph's that I went to all the time. So like Ralph's was close to my house, and close to that was, you know, this Chinese restaurant. So we go to the Chinese restaurant, and we're sitting there, and we were sitting there for probably, like, there was a really long line, and I was like so impatient because all I wanted was, first of all, I ate an edible, so I'm like, all I wanted was beef and broccoli chicken, white rice, crab rangoon, noodles. Like I just like wanted lo mein. I just like wanted all of this horrible like MSG floating through my veins. All I wanted was Chinese food. So I'm sitting there and I'm like waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. Oh my god, I just realized how dark my eyebrows look. I got my eyebrows retouched today, so they're really dark. So I'm sitting there and I'm really like, we're waiting. Finally, we got our food. So we're like, oh, so we grab our food and we're leaving. And we're walking by Ralph's, and my ex-boyfriend was like, should we get some candy and some soda? And I'm like, yes. So we go into Ralph's, we get some candy, we get some soda, we're in line, we pay for our candy and soda, and my ex grabs the stuff that we just bought, and we're walking out, and I look at him and I said, where's the Chinese food? And he's like, oh. So we turn around, and the bag of Chinese food is gone. So and the cashier is like already on to the next person. So, and note that I'm high on an edible, I'm having my period, I'm like already super emotional, but I'm like dressed. I feel like if I was dressed more professionally, I would have been fine, but I'm like dressed like this. I'm wearing like a tank, I'm wearing a t-shirt, I'm wearing sweatpants, no hair, no makeup. I'm like super sweated out, like I just look like super casual, which I think added to the insanity because I think that they thought that we were like drug addicts or something, because I'm like, oh, so he goes up, and he was like this was like one of the reasons our relationship didn't work, is that amongst many, but he was like very timid, like a very, very timid person. So he went up and asked for like, oh, like my bag of Chinese food was here. And the guy was like, no, there's no bag here. And he just walks back over me and he's like, they said that there was no bag. I'm like, well, what do you mean they said there was no bag? What are you talking about? So then I had to go over and handle everything. And I'm like, excuse me. And the guy's like not even looking up at me. I'm like, excuse me. So he looks at me and I'm like, my bag of Chinese food was right here. It's gone. And the guy was like, there's no Chinese food here. And I'm like, where's my bag of Chinese food? And the guy's like, there is no bag of Chinese food. Like I'm this crazy woman off the street. Like I'm this street woman who just came off and was like, and he was like, oh, there's no bag. And the way that he said it to me was so condescending, like I was like a child. And that was one of the things I hated about when I was a child, is that people would talk to you condescendingly, and I hate when people talk to children like that, because I remember being a child and people condescendingly speaking to me, and it made me so upset. I remember my mom was getting surgery and I was like 7 years old, and I was talking to this guy who worked at the hospital, and he called me sweetheart, and I said, sir, do not call me sweetheart. And the man almost like fell over because he couldn't believe a 7-year-old just said that to him. Like, I do not like people condescending me in the slightest. Ugh. So the guy looks at me like I'm a crazy person, and he's like, there's no bag. So then, and there's other people that are trying to, you know, they're doing their groceries, and they're like looking over at me like I'm crazy, and I'm like, so I'm getting louder, and I'm like, there was a bag of Chinese food right here, and now it's gone. And he's like, I never saw a bag. So not only is he telling me the bag is gone, but now he's saying that I'm a liar. He's saying, I never saw a bag. There was no bag. And I was like, yes, there was a bag of Chinese food that was sitting here. So I'm like screaming. I'm getting more and more aggravated. So then other people that work there come over, and of course they're on his side because they don't know me from a hole in the wall. I'm just this crazy street woman that came in wearing sweatpants and no makeup. So they're all like standing literally on his side, and they are emotionally and mentally on his side as well. So they're like, ma'am, there is no Chinese food here. And I'm like, I know. They're like, this isn't a Chinese restaurant. I'm like, I know this isn't a Chinese restaurant. I literally went and got Chinese food, came here, was standing in line, put the bag down, and now the bag is gone. Like, they were acting like I was crazy. And my ex-boyfriend was like the most unhelpful person, because he honestly would have rather have just like abandoned the whole mission and gone home, or abandoned the whole mission and gone and went and got new Chinese food. Like, he was such like a meek person that he couldn't even like, he was just such a meek person. So me, I am a tiger. So I'm like, look. So then all of a sudden the manager comes over, and the manager, and this man really did deserve to be the manager, because he was the only one that looked past the really weird circumstance that I'm this crazy woman who's screaming about Chinese food in the line, and looked past the circumstance and looked like, so I said to him, look, I got Chinese food. I had it down right here. I paid for my groceries. When I was walking away, I realized that my bag was gone. And he said, well, so-and-so said that there was no bag. And I said, I know that there was a bag because I went and purchased my food and then came here. And he's like, well, I don't know why somebody would just pick up your bag and leave. And I said, I don't know either. I didn't do it. I wouldn't take someone else's bag. So the guy was like, he's like, okay, I'm gonna go look at the security footage. So my ex-boyfriend and I sit there for, I would say, 25 minutes. Literally 25 minutes waiting for the guy to come back, which of course we knew he was going to come back and tell us that they saw someone take the Chinese food. So he comes back 25 minutes later and he says, "I'm so sorry. We watched the surveillance footage and you did indeed." So my ex-boyfriend had put down the food, and then this woman who bought cigarettes, she literally bought a pack of cigarettes right before us, bought the pack of cigarettes, and then took our Chinese food and left. And this is why you don't live in Los Angeles, because there are crazy people out there buying cigarettes, stealing Chinese food. So then, after that happens, I now am embarrassed because I'm like, I have screamed at all, which I really shouldn't have even been embarrassed. But I then had to apologize to the people that worked there because I went into that Ralph's all the time, which it was such a seedy Ralph's. I'm so happy that's not my grocery store anymore. So I like had to apologize to them, and I like very loudly was like, "I'm really sorry, I'm having my period." And all of these people in line looked up at me, and in my head I was like, "You shouldn't have said that." So the grocery store paid. They actually, like, the manager went across the street with us. We put in our order, and then the manager paid for our food. And that was it. But it was just so weird because, like, that woman, I vaguely remember the woman in front of us. Like, vaguely remember her. I just remember she had, like, curly long hair. But it was just so weird because I don't know if she bought anything else. I remember that she bought cigarettes. But it was like, even if she did not realize that she had just, like, grabbed a bag. I mean, I don't know. I remember she got cigarettes. I don't know if she got anything else. But if she had just grabbed the bag thinking it was hers, or maybe thinking she had got it from somewhere else, like, what the hell when that bitch got home that she just opened that bag and was like, Chinese food? Like, I can't even, like, you know, sometimes, like, you do stuff and you're on autopilot, you're tired, you've had, like, you know, you're not thinking. I wonder if she really meant to steal our Chinese food, or if she got home and she just opened her bag and was like, Chinese food? Where did this come from? You know, and then was like, oh my god, did I steal someone's Chinese food? I wonder if that happened. I don't know. But yeah, I got my Chinese food, and I remember when I got home, I was sitting there and I was like, I don't even want to eat this Chinese food, because I was so embarrassed about everything that happened. I mean, I really, I needed validation, and I needed them to pay for our Chinese food, and I needed them just to admit that they were wrong and that someone did steal my Chinese food. Like, when that guy looked up at me and said there was no bag, it was like my soul just left my body, and I was like, I'm about to punch this guy in the face. I just hate, it's like my biggest pet peeve is people telling me when I know something is real, or I know something to be true, and someone is telling me like it's a fact that it's not true. It's my biggest pet peeve. Ugh. Okay, that's my story. I'm gonna go finish cleaning up. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye!